In this video I'm going to be taking a detailed look at my main PC, my new one, which is this Fujitsu Esprimo P420, which I recently got. So then, on the front here we have optical drive bays, it's two of them, which I hope to add something for this one. And also you can have a floppy drive there, which I really want to add there. But there's something special I kind of want to add there, which is going to go in this 5¼ inch bay. And on the front panel you have two USB ports, my headphone and mic, and the power button, and then the hard drive indicator. So then, we'll have a look at the rear I/O on the back. So on the back here we have power supply, PS2 connectors, VGA, DVI, more USB ports, and more audio jacks, and a network card, which I'll go into detail later on in the video. So let's open up the machine, which I've already undone two screws which hold this panel on the side here, so all I need to do is just pull it back like that, and then it should gain me access to the internals of the machine. So let's talk about specs. So the CPU, this is an Intel Core i5-4430, which is powering the system. It's a really nice CPU. It plays games very well. I've played a few games with this machine and it's had no problems. Down here we have a TP-Link network card, which I recently got. It's a wireless network card which has two antennas there to pick up Wi-Fi. I think it's Wi-Fi 4, not sure. As for memory, I have some G-Skill Ripjaws X, I think it's called, Ripjaws X. So two 4GB sticks, so dual channel configuration totaling up to 8GB, DDR3, 1600 MHz RAM. Storage, I actually have the SSD, so this is the boot drive, the SSD boot drive, which is actually out of my Sony Vaio, which I've been daily driving for a long time. So yeah, that is actually the the SSD, the boot drive. And down here, this is my Western Digital RE4, which you may remember from the Dell Optiplex, which a friend gave me. So yes, that's pretty much my system. And then of course we've just got a standard, I think it's a 240 watt power supply, no, 250 watt power supply, with a surge output power of 280 watts. So it's a good enough power supply, but obviously I can't have a powerful graphics card in there, which I don't, to be honest, I don't really need a graphics card, because the Intel HD graphics is good enough for what I do anyway. I'm not into these AAA games, never have been, never will be. So anyway, let's get this computer back together and then we'll boot it up. Okay, so now the computer's back together and back in its usual resting place where I've got the setup. I can now boot it on, or turn it on. So, before I do, one thing I forgot to mention was about the motherboard. Now the motherboard in this seems to be some weird form factor. I think it's ITX, either ATX or ITX. I think it might be ITX due to it only having 2 RAM slots, but it's not the normal size of an ITX board. It seems to be slightly bigger than an ITX. So it's probably some proprietary form factor that Fujitsu have. Let me know in the comments on what you think it could be. But anyway, enough blabbering on. So I'm going to turn on the monitor here. So switch it on. And then, so one thing to note about this computer is when it turns on, the fans rev up to full speed, and they sound pretty loud when they rev up, so it revs up quite a lot when it boots. So we'll power it on now. Here comes the BIOS on the screen. Basically does like a memory count, and then it will boot into Windows. I actually had it hibernating because I was doing some stuff on there. But yes, system's booted up. It's a pretty quiet machine when it's idle. I don't know if you can hear that hard drive clicking, but obviously it's probably not accessing much data because it's not the boot drive. And here's the DVD-ROM drive, which I prefer the tray loading ones to the slimline ones like you get on laptops. I don't like them much, so I prefer these ones. They just seem faster and more reliable. So yes, this is my new computer, which I will be daily driving from now on. So yeah, that's pretty much it.